Okay, so hey guys, this is KMCers whatever. I'm Kirsten, and today's video is another true crime video. But today we are going to be talking about a guy named Ahmaud Arbery. And this case became widely known recently, and it is still being investigated as we speak. So I will just give you the details that we have now, as they are still investigating. So let's just jump right into this case, shall we? Okay, so Ahmaud Arbery was 25 years old. He is an African American. He was from Burswick, Georgia. He was born on May 8th of 1994. His parents' names were Wanda Cooper Jones. He has two siblings, a brother named Marcus Arbery Jr. and Jasmine Arbery. His family described him as very humble and kind. He always said I love you before he left. He loved downtime with his family and friends. He loved to make people laugh, and he loved jokes, especially. He could light up a room with just a smile alone. He loved sports, especially basketball and football. He went to Burswick High School and graduated in 2012, and then he went on to go to South Georgia Technical School or college, and I don't know if he graduated yet or not, but that is how his family described his personality. So this case kind of became famous, kind of gained spotlight in early May due to the fact that a video went viral of the incident, and people have now wanted justice for this young man. So let's jump back to when it all started. So on February 23rd of 2020, Ahmaud set out on a jog, and he was just jogging the streets early afternoon when two guys came up to him and basically stopped him. These two guys saw him in the distance and thought he looked like a suspect from a chain of burglaries that were happening in the area, and they decided that they wanted to stop him. So they went to their house and got a 357 Magnum gun, as well as a shotgun. They jumped into their truck and they drove over and stopped him. One of the guys was named Travis McMichael, and he got in a altercation. They tussled around and wrestled over this gun, which ended up firing a couple shots out of and hitting Ahmaud, and he stumbles and fell down face down. The other gentleman in this incident was named Gregory McMichaels, Travis's father, and he told the first responding officer that they believed he looked like a suspect. They also said that they had turned him over after they had shot him on the ground to check for a weapon, as they did not find a weapon. But the first responder did note how much blood was on Greg's hands. Greg McMichael was a former police officer and an investigator, so his involvement in this case was pretty big from the beginning. Ahmaud was buried 6 days after this incident occurred, but the two men that had killed him had walked free for a couple of months since. So on February 25th of 2020, Jackie Johnson, a DA's attorney, or a district attorney, a DA, recused herself from the case due to conflict of interest. She was friends and worked in the same office as Gregory McMichael, so she got herself off this case. And she worked with him until Greg retired in May of 2019. She asked the state attorney general, Chris Carr, to reassign it to someone else. So on February 27th of 2020, George Barnhill, a district attorney for a neighboring county, started to get the information that there was a shooting involving Greg McMichaels and his son, and that they were claiming it was a self-defense issue, and that the police didn't know whether they should arrest these two men or not. Matthew Kent, a public information officer, relayed that the events were very different. It was not a self-defense at all, but they are claiming it's self-defense, and that they had learned of the case at 3:30 the same day that it had happened, where they are saying that they didn't know about this case at all, which apparently is a lie. So the DA's office advised that a further follow-up happened, and that they would contact the police department if they believed that they needed to be arrested. The McMichaels were deemed as not a flight risk at all. They don't honestly believe that they needed an arrest at that time. And controversy really arose with that at that moment. The family really believed that these guys should be arrested. As most people do, when somebody shoots somebody, you should be arrested for it, regardless of your skin color, basically. So we didn't get any kind of information for about a month, April 2nd of 2020. So George Barnhill, the second DA to take the case, had decided that he wanted to step down from the case. And he told the police that there was no grounds for this arrest at all. Ahmaud's mother decided that they didn't want Barnhill to work the case. They believed that he worked at Johnson's office and there was a conflict there with kinships and friendships and all that kind of stuff. So they asked him to step down, which he did step down from. But he did say in his letter that after he had read the autopsy report that came in on April 1st, that he believes that there was no grounds for an arrest at all. In his direct quote, I'm just going to read it here, it says, "The McMichaels were following in hot pursuit a burglary suspect with solid first-hand probable cause in their neighborhood and asking/telling him to stop," he wrote. "It appears their intention was to stop and hold the criminal suspect until law enforcement arrived. Under Georgia law, this is perfectly legal." The only issue with the burglary suspect is that police did find out later on that their burglary, had only been one in that neighborhood, and it was out of Travis's unlocked truck. Someone stole a gun out of his unlocked truck. So at that moment, there wasn't a lot of burglaries happening, like they thought. So that's a little weird. So going back, Barnhill also stated that in Georgia's open carry law, it states that they are allowed to be armed because they are not a convicted felon. And it also states that in the altercation of Ahmaud and Travis, when Ahmaud grabbed the gun, Travis, I guess, has every right to use deadly force as self-defense under the Georgia law. He also said that there had been a question of who fired the fatal shot, as they had known that Travis had his finger on the trigger the whole time, but didn't know what caused the firing of the gun, or if he actually did pull the trigger and fired the gun. Barnhill also states that the witness that filmed the altercation was identified as William Bryan. So on April 13th of 2020, Tom Durden, the third district attorney to take this case, said that he had no previous knowledge of this case, no previous relationships with anyone involved with Jackie Johnson, with Barnhill, with Gregory McMichaels, with Travis McMichaels, all the officers. He has no relationships with any of these. He is completely a new outlook on it, kind of thing, and that he was going to review the case and take the proper action that he believed needed to happen. So we again did not hear any information for about a month again. So on May 5th of 2020 is when we got the next information. A defense attorney that is later, I think, identified as Alan Tucker, had leaked the graphic video of Ahmaud's shooting on social media. He had consulted with the McMichaels, but was not representing them at the time, and the McMichaels really wanted it out there to prove that, I guess probably to prove that Ahmaud was the bad person in this situation, that they had used self-defense and all that. That was their, I think that's their defense right now, is that it was self-defense. The district attorney also leaked it to a local radio station, and because it was posted on social media, things went viral on social media. This video was known everywhere. Alan Tucker said that the leaking was because he wanted the truth out there. He wasn't trying to exonerate them or convict these guys. He just wanted the truth out there. It was a lot of he said, she said, different conflicting stories. So you can see what actually is seen to happen. Tom Durden said that his plans were to present the case to a grand jury and then have them decide whether charges needed to be made against the McMichaels. And of course the video at this point had went viral, and it has been news spread, and that is kind of how this case kind of became known, is because this video kind of just went viral and everybody was outraged by it. So on May 6th of 2020, Ahmaud's parents and their family attorneys had a news conference, and they were really pushing for officials to arrest the McMichaels. The McMichaels have been not arrested this whole entire time. They've been free. And this happened back in February, and they are still free as of May 6th. So the family was really pushing for an arrest just to get this ball rolling. They wanted justice for their son, as any parent would. So Wanda Cooper Jones, Ahmaud's mother, recalled that the police had told her that her son was shot by a homeowner during a home burglary. And it wasn't until after his funeral that she found out that he was actually killed, not in a home, not on the yard. He was killed in the street, just jogging. No burglary was happening in the moment. He was just shot out of the blue, pretty much. Which made her really outraged and really want to get justice for her son. This really pushed her to find out answers of what really happened. Even a petition made on change.org, where thousands of people signed it in support of getting justice for Ahmaud. So on May 7th of 2020, around 7:45 p.m. that night, there was news that broke that the McMichaels had been arrested, and that they were facing felony murder and aggravated assault charges. So on May 8th of 2020, supporters sparked the I Run with Maud movement, people running a 2.23 miles to mark the date that he was killed. And of course, May 8th was gonna be his 26th birthday, so that's why they ran it on that day, is to kind of honor that. Tom Durden brought the agents within 36 hours to arrest the McMichaels. To get a warrant to arrest him was the thing. They said that the Glenn County Police got the case to a good point, but they wanted to re-look at everything, make sure that they didn't miss anything, and they also re-interviewed a bunch of people as well as new people that they never even interviewed in the first place. They said that the video was a very important piece of evidence to this case, that they are investigating everyone that is involved in this case. The DAs that have been stepped down from this case, they believe they were covering up things, and he really wanted to go after everyone, even the person that had taped the video for them. They wanted to prosecute everyone that they see as they need justice for this kid. So on May 10th and 11th, it's kind of mixed matched here, the Chris Carr guy announced that he asked the Department of Justice to conduct a complete and transparent review of this case and how it was handled from the start, to see if there was any misconduct, I guess, especially on Johnson and Barnhill and the police department, and to see how they really did respond to a fatal shooting of this guy. The DOJ is reporting that they're considering pressing federal hate crime charges on the McMichaels as well as some other people. Has been assigned to the 4th DA, which had prompted a lot of anger and calls for justice. Joyette Holmes was assigned to the case as the family felt like Durden sat on the case and only started really activating this case after that video had gotten leaked. So they had wanted Joyette Holmes to step in and be for this case, so by the family request, which is now being tested as conflicts of interest, and so she's getting hammered with that. So another piece of evidence that has come in is the autopsy reports that 2 gunshot wounds to the chest killed Arbery. He sustained injuries from his upper chest and lower chest, and as well as a graze on his right wrist from the struggle with Travis. He had no alcohol or drugs in his system at the time of his death. So, what do you think about this case? Who's responsible? Should they be going for more charges? Is this a hate crime? Just let me know in the comments down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell notifications so you're notified when we post every single Friday. This is KMCers, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!